Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Depending on from where you are you listening to us today. First of all, and before we start, I would like to thank the organizers of the Marietta College Earth, Energy and Environment Students Conference for the great efforts they have put on this event. Now with almost 4,000 people registered from over 80 countries across the globe, it makes it one of the world's largest students' energy conferences. So happy to see actually how things have been evolving with the conference. And also would like to thank all the attendees for your interest to join us today discussing this important topic, the hydrogen. And we promise you that we will have 60 exciting minutes in the next hour or so. And why? Because we'll be talking about, with no doubt, the most important topic in the energy sector nowadays, which is basically the hydrogen. And also glad to see that we have a mix of industry and academia experts in our panel. Appreciate their time and their contribution to the panel and to the discussion today. And maybe we can start with a quick introduction for my colleagues on the panel today, and then we can jump into the discussion. So Zainab, if you don't mind, you can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Salah. Sure. So I'm pleased to participate to this panel discussion on the hydrogen ammonia as playing a role in future energy sources. And thank you very much, Marietta College and University of Houston for inviting me. So I think also I'll take this opportunity to highlight the importance to connect and exchange with universities and academia on all technical and economic aspects of hydrogen ammonia as significant players of the energy transition. So my name is Zainab Sigroushni. So I'm in charge of hydrogen strategy and partnerships within John Cockrell, working on developing and tightening collaboration with the key stakeholders of the hydrogen and ammonia value chain. So with the objective to building a viable and sustainable business model enabling scale up of hydrogen and green hydrogen and green ammonia technology and economy. So maybe a few words on John Cockrell for those that don't know. So John Cockrell is working for 200 years on providing answers towards energy transition, but not only energy transition, green mobility, safety, sustainable industrial production. So we our specialty is in designing and modernizing and maintaining equipment in the field of energy, generation, environmental, and industrial applications. So very, very happy to and delighted today to participate to our panel today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Zainab. Rehab?
Yes, I am Rehab Al-Maghrabi. I am the head of the Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemical Engineering department at the Faculty of Petroleum and Mining Engineering at South University. I am also working as adjunct faculty associate professor at the American University in Cairo. Actually, I am very happy to join this panel discussion, and it is a very interesting event to exchange knowledge and know more about hydrogen and discuss what would be the new technology and what would be the future of hydrogen and ammonia. Thank you, Engineer Salah, and thank you for Ahmed and Ms. Dr. Sulaiman for organizing this and for being the chair of this event. Thank you.
Right. And actually, we have also another colleague who was supposed to join us, Carlos Tarrio de La Rosa. He's just experiencing some technical issues, but hopefully he will join us in the next few minutes or so. I see also that we have now a larger number of participants, people attending the call, over 200 people or so far, which is really great. So I think, we can start with the first question, Zainab, back to you. And we all know the green hydrogen, and that the major technologies to produce the green hydrogen is basically the water electrolysis. And I know that John Cockrell is definitely one of the leading companies in this space. So I would like to make a good use of having you with us today, and ask you, if you don't mind, to explain the difference between the two major technologies, the PEM and the alkaline, and what, from your point of view, the main differences, as well as the advantages, advantages of each of those technologies.
Okay, sure. Thank you for this question. I think that electrolyzer is pretty known, or if not, I will refresh maybe for a few seconds what we are talking about. So the electrolyzers as chemical process is very known and has been known since 1800. I mean, more than 200 years. So we know there are four main technologies in the market that most of players do know under the name of alkaline technology, and PEM under the name of proton exchange membrane. So alkaline electrolyzers, what it does is splitting the water into hydrogen and oxygen with applying a voltage into alkaline solution, what we call electrolyte. This is water mixed with some oxide potassium. So while the PEM, the proton exchange membrane, this method, it differs. It reverses actually the fuel cell principle and requires no liquid electrolyte as the alkaline does. So the water is pressed through a stack of two electrodes and polymer membrane, and it only allows the positive anion. But this is more technical. We don't want to make it like very, very technical session today, Salah. I'm trying to just get refreshed. So the alkaline is more mature technology. So the most installation for the hydrogen production, they are based on alkaline technology, fewer, so very, very mature technology since several years ago. The PEM is starting to be more used, especially for decentralized or for small capacity of green hydrogen production. Talking about the material used between alkaline and PEM, PEM is very known to use the platinum, which is one of the rare material, which is also might be of concern because this is a rare material. I have to mention also that there exists other technology, what we call the anion exchange membrane. This is similar to alkaline electrolysis, allowing negative also charge to pass through the membrane. But in AM technology, we avoid to use the costly precious material like metal, like it is the case for the PEM. This technology is more suitable for smaller scale and for decentralized application. There is another technology called solid oxide electrolyzer cells, known under the name of SOEC. This is more high temperature electrolyzers, where we use ceramic membrane that conduct ions at very high temperature. So separating with using the superheated steam at between 600 and 800 degrees. So separating the steam into oxygen and hydrogen. So these are four technology. The most used installation, they're using alkaline and PEM technologies. So we all, maybe most of you have heard about, okay, so when it comes to select what technology for what application or for what usage application for in terms of the size of the installed green hydrogen plant, we have to based on different studies, we know that alkaline is more suitable for large scale installation, while PEM for more decentralized or modular installation. The most difference between is sometimes we heard that PEM would be more suitable because we have to remind that green hydrogen is produced using renewable energy sourcing, right? And we know all that renewable energy has intermittent futures. So the question is how does the usage or the technology PEM and alkaline follow the intermittent effect of renewable energy sourcing? So this both technology can follow the intermittent and alkaline, especially in between, like you see, not plus minus 4%. It can follow up the per second, the variation of the intermittent energy sourcing. One big difference, maybe not big difference, but key difference is the load factor, what we call the green hydrogen plant is working on. This might be a difference between both technology, what we call the minimum load for alkaline and PEM. And we know, we see that alkaline can start at higher load. Why? Because of the for safety reason. What we call it for the anodic gas impurity, in order to prevent any mixture of oxygen in hydrogen, which it has limit of a maximum of 2% or 1.5%. To prevent this mixture, which is safety relevant, the alkaline technology is recommend or the alkaline technology electrolyzers are having a minimum load at starting from 30 to 40%. Prevent this safety issue. But this point, or the technology now can also allow starting at lower loads with using what we call different loops, running the electrolyte at different loops. So this is the main let's say difference. But for large scale, this point, or let's say this difference, is not relevant for using the alkaline. Why? Because we can overcome this the low load factor with using starting to produce hydrogen using one stack electrolyzer instead of another. So as a reminder, alkaline technology is used for larger scale. We are talking about more than 100 to 1 gigawatt scale, where you have a larger stack, like the 5 megawatt stack offered by John Cockrell, while for PEM technology, we see in the market stack of 1.5 to 2.5 megawatt stack. I don't want to go through the whole technical aspect, but this would be let's say the main difference.
No, appreciate it, Zainab. Thank you very much. And indeed, it is really interesting to see how things actually, started to evolve a few years ago. Because for so many years, the alkaline technology has been actually the only technology that everybody used and used to talk even about. But again, 10 years ago, we started actually to hear about the PEM, and now it is really incredible to see, as based on the feedback that you got, how things actually started even to advance more and more, not just on the PEM and the alkaline technologies, but also in the new water electrolysis technologies, as you kindly mentioned. Very interested, very interesting indeed. Maybe now I would say that I will take a step back and ask Rehab if you can explain really the term of the blue hydrogen. So now we understood the green hydrogen, how it is being produced, but also we started recently, I mean, especially in the last 2 years, it started to see lots of key players, key countries, trying to push, towards the blue hydrogen as an intermediate solutions that can help us to accelerate the energy transition until, the world has this, more advanced, let us say, water electrolysis technologies. So if it will be really great to hear your thoughts. I mean, first of all, to explain what is blue hydrogen and what is the difference actually in the production technology method between producing the green hydrogen and the blue hydrogen.
So blue hydrogen in general, it is a stuff is the same as gray hydrogen, but in this case we are using this carbon dioxide emission. So gray hydrogen is produced from the methane steam reforming. So we use methane using steam. We have the methane gas using steam. It will produce carbon monoxide syngas, which and the hydrogen. And then we are using the steam gas, water gas shift reaction, where carbon monoxide react with the steam, and we will produce carbon dioxide and more hydrogen. So at the end, during this reaction, we're having CO2 emission together with the hydrogen production. So we have CO2 and hydrogen. This is called the green hydrogen. In this case, if we utilize this carbon, we capture this carbon dioxide and then utilize it, stored it, whatever we do with this, but we didn't allow it to be emitted to the atmosphere. In this case, we are calling this blue hydrogen. But I'm talking about the chemical reaction. There is to reach to this chemical reaction, we need temperature. So we are using oven for to reach this temperature for the methane steam reforming. In this oven, we are using fuel gas to reach this to this high temperature, and there will be also emissions. So we have to capture this flow gas out of the oven we are getting from this flow gas. So if we are capturing this CO2 and utilizing this CO2, converting it to useful chemicals or storing it, in this case, if we are closing the loop, in this case, it is called blue hydrogen. So it is the same as gray hydrogen, but we are no point at the plant will have emission of CO2 to the atmosphere. So in this case, this is called the blue hydrogen. So what was the other question? I'm sorry.
No, I think that you give indeed the right description of the process, how we can produce the blue hydrogen as you mentioned.
Yes. So because one more thing, what you asked, why it is like a cool transition between the gray hydrogen and the green hydrogen, actually, because it is readily available technology that the production of gray hydrogen is produced years ago, and it is well established. So the only point is to capture this CO2. In the oil and gas industry, capturing CO2 also has a well-established technologies known like membrane, solvent extraction, absorption. So there is different method available for this CO2 capturing, and also there is some development in the CO2 utilization and storage. So this is why the blue hydrogen can be used for the short term or for the short run, but for the long run, this will be the green hydrogen, the application of green hydrogen and the implementation of green hydrogen technology.
Interesting. Thank you very much. I mean, again, I think it is also interesting. Lots of people think of like the blue hydrogen opposing the green hydrogen, but as you kindly mentioned, Rehab, I think it's one story, right? The blue hydrogen is just playing a role, to help us in accelerating the process of the energy transition. Since basically we can't wait, for years until we get this advanced technologies in the water electrolysis side to help us in to produce, the green hydrogen in most, in a cost-effective way. I will stay with you, Rehab, if you don't mind, just to complete the picture. So now we spoke about the green hydrogen, the different technologies that are available in the market to produce it. And now we also spoke about the blue hydrogen in terms of how we produce it and why actually it came to the energy transition story. So, to close the loop, I also would like to hear your thoughts on the green ammonia. Why the green ammonia? And why, again, this cadence also has been created for the green ammonia. And from your perspective, what is the role that the green ammonia actually play, again, in the global fighting against the climate change?
So let me first show how we produce ammonia. So ammonia in general is using hydrogen, and we get nitrogen from the air. We react together to form a molecule of ammonia. So it is nitrogen H3, NH3. So this means hydrogen reacts with nitrogen from the air to produce ammonia. This hydrogen could be from green sources, from blue hydrogen. It could be gray hydrogen, pink hydrogen. So according to the color of hydrogen that is used in the manufacturing of ammonia or the synthesis of ammonia, the ammonia will be color coded according to this hydrogen. So the interesting thing about the ammonia that it is actually the production is well established, known from many decades, which is HAPR process. So it is known there is infrastructure for this green ammonia transportation and storage. So ammonia is known for human. Transportation of hydrogen is hard. It is not known at a very large scale. So ammonia actually can be used, can be easily compressed, transported at low pressure with like 10 to 15 bar. The temperature, it is transported as liquid ammonia in the range of temperature minus 33 degrees Celsius. So using pipelines or tankers to transport this ammonia. So ammonia is a hydrogen carrier, so we can transport or use ammonia as an energy storage. So because, as I said, it is a known infrastructure. The other way to use ammonia once we need this salt or this energy, we can use this ammonia, decompose the ammonia to hydrogen, or use ammonia electrolysis to hydrogen, and then we separate nitrogen and hydrogen from each other using separating technology. So and use hydrogen for in the fuel cell. So this is a way to produce to use ammonia. It is easier than hydrogen for transportation, and we can use ammonia as a carrier for hydrogen. The other way to use ammonia can be used green ammonia. So when I say ammonia, this is green. I mean green ammonia or whatever ammonia is, blue ammonia. So ammonia or green ammonia, it can be used in engine as a fuel cell for generating electricity, or in combustion engine. So we have ammonia using in the 2-stroke or 4-stroke combustion engine, internal combustion engine, and this is actually under development, and the main branch for using this will be marine engines. The problem here with the internal combustion engine, actually it is using a flame, so there could be formation of Na2O or NOx, and actually there should be combined with something to stop this or to convert these emissions to nitrogen and oxygen later. So actually, the ammonia is very, very potential and the candidate, and will make the transition to green hydrogen and other facilitate this process. So this is what if I heard your question.
Interesting. No, thanks a lot for help. I think it's really very clear. I don't know, Carlos, if you can hear us now. or you still have issues with your microphone? Okay, just a quick reminder to everyone in the call that we have booked the last 10 to 15 minutes actually for the Q&A. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box, and again, we'll do our best really to answer the vast majority of the questions that we receive towards the end of the session. So back to my colleagues in the panel. So I think now the story is clear. You know, it is the energy transition. The hydrogen is the tool that will actually potentially will use in this journey of fighting the climate change. Definitely there are challenges, and this is why blue hydrogen came to the story. Green ammonia came to the story. Of the energy transition, and all of this will help again to hopefully get us to the net zero targets that we need to get by 2050. So while we all feel excited about the hydrogen, about the green ammonia industry as well, the question to you, Zainab, if you don't mind, as industry expert, and I know John Cockerell is well involved in a larger number of green hydrogen projects around the world. From your perspective as a key player in this market, what are really the major challenges that this industry actually is facing at the moment?
Thank you for addressing this question, because this is one of the most, let's say, we are focusing always on solving problem. We don't spend some good times to enjoy the opportunities and good news. So let's talk about challenges. So one from our talks and discussion and work together in collaboration with different partners and stakeholders. And customers, while they are developing their green hydrogen, green ammonia project, we have collected really interesting input from the stakeholders, and we are participating to different work package within Hydrogen Europe or France Europe or Hydrogen Council. So we have done a very good job in collecting the input on what are the current challenges, why we see a slow speed in making or in flying, on seeing this project flying, like we say. So we come up with the following outcome. We have identified almost 6 to 7 barriers. I would say some few words on each of these barriers, because this is, I think this is just, this is the dialogue, this is the story, this is the speeches that you are listening everywhere, like at the World Hydrogen Congress, like Salah have been attending. So there are 7 barriers. So the first one, clear cost. The second one is technological maturity of all the technologies that we are talking about, from producing green hydrogen, regarding the infrastructure of hydrogen, all this part of the value chain. Then you have efficiency. So we heard about efficiency. This is clear from technical standpoint. We need to work. All the stakeholders need to work to improve the efficiency of the technology, of the equipment, of the infrastructure. There's another challenge, which is renewable energy, the availability of renewable energy, because this is what is sourcing the green hydrogen production and at the end, the green ammonia production. And you have the remaining 2 barriers are policy and the regulatory framework. There is kind of uncertainty level at this for this thematic, and the final one that I might not the last, at least the standards and certification. And I left the last one, which is more correlated to the financing, what we call chicken and egg problem. So without financing, you cannot develop project, and without private project, you cannot. So this is what we call the chicken and egg problem, but this is a known problem everywhere in all sectors. Few words on some of this barriers. So regarding when it comes to cost, we know that the current cost of clean hydrogen, I would say low carbon hydrogen, green hydrogen, is still high to the conventional one, to the carbon fuel one. So not only the cost of the production, but the cost of transporting, converting, storing hydrogen are also high. So adopting clean hydrogen technologies for end users can be expensive. So, but we are aware of this, and we have, I think, all players out of the chain value, they're working on their roadmap and their cost roadmap to reduce the cost of their technology. John Cockerill is also working on this. We know what to do and where to fine tune in terms of technology aspect to reduce the cost, to address the end users' needs of having or using lower green hydrogen costs. So the technological maturity, as I said, that the alkaline is the most known technology, more mature. You see already a huge, let's say, significant installation in terms of megawatts, more than 100 megawatts installed in China, for instance. So in terms of maturity, there is still work to do. Some technology in the value chain, not only in terms of production hydrogen, but also in the infrastructure, they still have a low level of technological readiness and need to be proven at scale. So the third barrier, efficiency, as I told you, efficiency, which converting from the hydrogen production or infrastructure, from the infrastructure, incurs significant energy losses during the hydrogen conversions. If we take like from hydrogen to ammonia as well, so there are quite energy losses at each stage of the value chain. So from the production, transport, conversion, and use. So that's why we need, and this is also on the roadmap of all stakeholders out of the chain value. Everybody's working on improving the efficiency. So the fourth barrier, which I mentioned, the sufficient renewable electricity. So by 2050, if we have some figures about studies and out of all the published report on energy outlook, the hydrogen, the production of hydrogen with electrolysis may consume close to 20,000 terawatt hour by 2050. So how we need to develop more and more renewable energy power plant everywhere in order to come up, or let's say to address this demand for the green hydrogen production. So as more end user sectors are electrified, a lack of sufficient renewable electricity may become a bottleneck. This is a point that has been highlighted in all meetings and conferences, that there is a certain high need to develop and to accelerate the development and the deployment of renewable energy power plants. When it comes to policy and regulatory, there is a certain, as I said, there is a point of certain level of uncertainty. Although even that almost more than 140 countries have pledged to achieve net zero emissions within the coming decades, we do see that the speed of these goals to be achieved still remain uncertain. So there are some roadmap have been communicated, but still stable and long-term policy frameworks are needed to support such development. Standards and certification. As I mentioned, this is also another barrier. So most countries, there is a lack of institutional mechanism to track the production and the consumption of any hydrogen and identify its characteristic, like origin, where it will be produced, where to track back where the renewable energy has been produced. Is it green, or is it, so what we call, we have seen that as, or they are known under the name of certificate of energy, and this is something that work, like the work of IRENA or IEA. There are some studies done about how we can improve the standard and certification. And the final, maybe the chicken and egg. This is regarding the financing of project. So this is something that also some investment fund, they are becoming more and more aware, and the financing mechanism is being now improved to address this investment demand and requirement.
So interesting, Zainab. Yeah, as I mentioned, I mean, it's an exciting time for the hydrogen, but also there are lots of major barriers and challenges that we have to work on. I mean, the industry, the academia, everyone has to work together really to make sure that we accelerate overcoming process over these challenges. And I see that we have almost 10 minutes stand between us and the Q&A session. Say maybe if in just a couple of minutes, Zainab, if you don't mind, I will stay with you. So now we understood the challenges. Could you please, also share your thoughts how we can accelerate the whole process of advancing this hydrogen economy? And the reason I'm asking, because somebody has set the targets for us, right? By 2030, 2035, by 2050, you have to achieve the net zero. So there is really a big need to accelerate the whole process. So again, I will appreciate if you can give us a quick brief in 2 minutes, your thoughts on this, please.
Okay, so maybe I will start. I will come back to the major hurdles and barriers that I mentioned, like the cost and policy and infrastructure. So the cost point is very relevant here, and I believe that all the technology providers for green hydrogen, green ammonia, they are aware of this, and everybody's working on reducing the cost of the provided technology. Like John Cockrell is working on decreasing the cost of electrolyzers, but the cost is also related to how you are designing your technology and your electrolyzer. And this is something that we are working very closely with different, not only within the John Cockrell, within the R&D team, but in collaboration with other universities. And one point is very significant or very important to mention here. This is it's not only about the cost, but it's about the efficiency. And when we want to combine, in order to develop better performing electrolyzer, we need to find kind of trade-off between what would be the best efficiency, how we can improve the efficiency while we're decreasing the cost. And I think this is the answer to how we are designing the electrolyzers to come up with the let's say, to target lower cost of hydrogen production, what we call LCOH, levelized cost of hydrogen. We need to improve the efficiency. Why? Because like in Europe, we know that the price of renewable energy, electricity is higher than in other countries, sunny countries. So improving the efficiency would be means that you reduce the consumption of electricity, and in that way, you are decreasing the overall cost of your hydrogen production. So we need to find when I say trade-off, is like how you are improving the efficiency. It comes to improve the material used. Okay, so material use, that means you have to improve the material quality for better contacting, in order to reduce the electrical consumption. And why you're reducing the cost? So this is what we call trade-off, and this will help to like for European developers, for European project owners, or let's say operators of the green hydrogen and ammonia plants. This will enable to reduce the overall cost of production. So this part, I think that the main stakeholders are working on this. And the other part is the infrastructure. So we need to also catalyze the demand, because it should be kind of balancing between the demand and the offer. So when it takes talk the cost, so this is the offer perspective. From the demand perspective, we need to develop suitable infrastructures for storage, for transporting the ammonia, the green ammonia, and also to develop suitable technologies to store hydrogen in order to be adequately transported. So in terms of technology,
Great.
There are some players there. They are also offering this, and they are working on this. So I think that we are on the right way. On the same time, we are working on improving things in order to make the green hydrogen affordable for end users, I would say.
No, and interesting, Zainab. Thank you. And I mean, the takeaway from what you said is we, parties, players. So definitely the collaboration, that need to be done between the different parties within the hydrogen value chain all over the world, it is really a key. And another element is also the collaboration between the industry and the academia side. And definitely we can't have Rehab here in the panel without asking her the question, how we can make a good use of the capabilities the academia have actually has to support the development of this industry. I know that you worked successfully in a great initiative a couple of years ago when you introduced, for example, to your students the initiative of working on such clean energy projects, and it worked very well. So keen to hear your thoughts, Rehab. I know that we have only 2 minutes left on
yes.
how we can make this happen.
I think Dr. Ahmed saying that Q&A also included in the 2 minutes. So just a quick answer is so there's through the research and the development section. Also in the university, we can integrate in the development of the electrolyzers, increasing the hydrogen yield, like test for in the research section, how to increase hydrogen yield, how to reduce the cost of the production, because we know the cost of production can range from $9 or higher to $2.5 for blue hydrogen. So there is some initiative to produce $1 per kilogram per 1 kilogram per 1 decade for the hydrogen. This is one of the initiatives. So this is something that the academia can contribute in the hydrogen purity, and this is something also for the separation, the purification technologies. All this can also be introduced through the academia. Through the education and the education of the public, introducing this concept to the student, because we want to upgrade the student, because they will contribute to the market and share in the development of these technologies. Also encourage the startup in renewable technologies and so on. So there is many sections and fields that the academia and the different universities and research centers in the universities that can share in. So this is a short answer.
Excellent. I know it is always exciting when we talk about the hydrogen, and we can basically every time we start this we can talk for hours. Okay, but unfortunately it is what it is. We have to stop now, and I don't know, Dr. Ahmad, do we have 5-10 minutes for the Q&A?
The problem we have a next panel will start after 10 minutes. So just we give them a break for 10 minutes. So you can have like a 1 minute.
Okay,
I think time is basically over because we have to have time to get the other panelists in. So
great. Yeah, so I would like to take this opportunity to conclude. First of all, I'm sure that the organizers will capture all the questions that you have actually sent in the chat box. I would like to thank my colleagues on the panel, Zainab, Rihab, great discussion. I enjoyed it myself. I hope all the attendees have really enjoyed it as well. We will, you have our names, our emails. If you have any questions, please feel free really to reach out to ourselves. And hopefully you will enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we can capture all the questions and we'll forward them to you. Dr. Sarochi, you're about to say something. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much for the invitation. And of course, I have just identified 1 or 2 questions. Maybe I will answer on the chat. And I was very pleased to join this panel, and thank you. It was a great event, and I found this is very important to be connected with the universities and with the students and address their question and their topic. Was very pleased.
Thank you so much for very valuable panel. That was really, really good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.